Today's guest is Gary McNamara, the Warden of Essex County and the Mayor of Tecumseh. Welcome to today's show, Gary.
Well, thanks for having me, Robert.
Tell me, I always ask this question first, how are you and your family doing through this time?
Well, we're healthy. That's the important thing, and you know, I have one son who's a first responder, and he's a firefighter with the city of Windsor, and you know, his mom and myself, we're concerned obviously with his safety and that, but as he leaves for work for his shift, it's don't worry, you know, we're taking all the precautions that we can, and measures that we have at hand, and but we're there to serve our community. So that's you know, we're healthy. That's the main thing. We're you know, we're maintaining, and it's been a very trying 2 months in particular, you know, leading up to this COVID-19 issue. But I must say we're very fortunate that we're maintaining our health.
Excellent. Now, Gary, as the Warden of Essex County, how has COVID-19 affected the county?
Well, Robert, it's not business as usual, and you know, we've adopted you know, now through the new legislation from provincial government, we meet virtually, and that's been going quite well. We have established an Emergency Measures Act, and where we've delegated some authority to obviously the CAO and some of the senior management team. Business has to continue, and there are essential services that we need to provide, like EMS and long-term care facilities, our roads department. Very, very important to keep those services going, and under the Emergency Measures Act, we were able to do that.
Hey, Gary, and you can deal with this specifically to the town of Tecumseh or all the towns and municipality in Essex County, but tell us, how is the social distancing going in the parks and the trails? Because we want people to have recreation, but we want them to be safe too. Well,
number one is we can't emphasize enough how important it is for us to keep our distance. As social animals that we are, is probably a very difficult thing. But I must say, I'm very, very pleased to see the majority of folks out there who either are shopping for groceries or exercising in the parks are taking that extra step to maintain distance. But there are a few that need to be reminded how serious this COVID-19 outbreak it really is. And not only is measures are put in place to protect yourself or protect people, you have to be reminded that whatever actions I take or the next person takes will affect the health of the next person. So it's critical, Robert, that we maintain the safe distance, wash our hands, sanitize them as often as possible, you know, and but the key factor here is if there's no need to be out and about, stay home. That's where you're safest, and you're there also to protect your neighbors, your family members, and others.
I know recently they just had a change with the bylaw officers and their responsibilities. Can you talk about that in Tecumseh?
The bylaws?
Bylaw officers.
Yes, under the provincial legislation, changes have been made. They are now, I suppose you could call it, deputized as officers of the court. Now they have the not only the right to issue byline infraction tickets, but under the new Ontario Emergency Act itself, they now have powers to ticket people, and on social distancing, on those who are not really paying attention on what we've done in terms of restricting access to parks equipment and many other aspects in the community. They have the power now to ticket. And as Canadians, you know, we certainly want to offer the carrot first, and then, you know, we certainly don't want to use the stick. But There are situations in other cities where tickets have been issued, and these are pretty hefty fines, Robert. They start about $750 and they go as high as $100,000. And so it shows you the importance of abiding by the rules that have been set out for the greater good, that's been put out by public health and then reinforced by new legislation powers.
Yeah, I mean, we continually try and reinforce it. Stay home, but if you have to get out, make sure you keep your distance. And hopefully people start catching on to this. It's not rocket science here that we're dealing with. So one other thing, Gary, in regards to Tecumseh, can you tell us about any tax relief measures that have come into play?
Well, first, one of the things we did do, and I'm very proud of the county and the county municipalities, we are really coordinated. We declared our emergency act just following the county. Our administrations across the region have been meeting together, and our policies are pretty much uniform across all our communities, not only Tecumseh, but many of the other communities as well, where what we've done is put penalties aside, and depending on the length of times from the first billing of taxes, we've decided till at least the end of June of this year, there will be no penalties levied on late payments for taxes. We've also taken measures on late fees on water billing, sewer billing as well. Those are going to be abated until later this summer. And we'll have to make adjustments, Robert, as we move forward, in trying to beat this COVID-19. But until we return to normal, we've exercised that right to suspend the penalties. For those out there who can and who are still working, who can pay their taxes, we're telling them to do that, because obviously that is the operating capital for any municipality. But again, the late fee penalties are forgiven, but that doesn't mean that the taxes are forgiven.
Right. Well, Gary, that's all the time we have. We really appreciate your time. Please stay well, stay safe.
Well, thank you very much, Robert. Now, the only other thing I'd add is wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands, stay separate, and stay healthy.
Thanks, Gary. That was Gary McNamara, the Warden of Essex County and the Mayor of Tecumseh.